What's good, everybody? Welcome to yet another edition of your award-winning show presented by Sportskeeda.com. It is a Coach and Bro show. I am the coach. He is the bro, Vince Russo. Hello, sir. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, a lot of domestic stuff, Coach, this weekend, which caused me to slice my thumb wide open, which I wasn't happy with that, bro. But a lot of domestic stuff this week. I usually like to take it easy on the weekends, Coach. I had a lot of stuff to do around the house, man.
You know, when I look at that thumb, I think of one word, Vince Russo. SAWFT. Soft.
Yeah.
What do you always say? Mamby-pamby?
I had to go to Walgreens like 9 o'clock at night to get those butterfly gimmick Band-Aids, bro. Yeah, man, I was very mamby-pamby-ish, yes.
They got to make sure that you type your phone number in to make sure you get those rewards. Walgreens
Yeah,
is
exactly.
horrible about that.
Yes.
Gotta get your rewards. But
Yeah.
I know as a New Yorker, I mean, it's kind of sensory overload for you this weekend and tonight, right?
Bro, a lot going on, man. I think, God, I hate to say this, man. I think the Dodgers are starting to come in their own. I hate to say it. Man, but my Maloik did not let me down yesterday because the Giants pooped the freaking bed. It had nothing to do with my Maloik. And then tonight, Coach, you gotta school me a little later on because I'm missing something, man, because that line, man, went down even more today. I mean, I woke up, it was 2.5. An hour later, it's 1. I'm like, Coach, got to smart me up. What am I missing here? We'll talk all about that on today's show, bro.
Yeah, we got it. So if you're brand new to the Coach and Bro show, we're the only show in the world that does sports and wrestling. And of course, you get bonus content at Backstage Pass, which is on our Patreon. You can subscribe to that anytime, courtesy of Sportskeeda. I'll explain the line movement, but Vince, you know here at Coach and Bro, what do we say all the time? We like to keep it real. We like to be honest. And there is not a topic that we will not cover. Am I right?
Yeah, Coach, the only thing I don't like covering, I get hot about sometimes. I even got hot at our own Raju here on Sportskeeda. Bro, I don't want to talk about anything that's old news. I don't want to talk about anything that's been hashed and rehashed over the last 25, 30 years. Hot news, new news.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all for.
Okay.
There isn't a topic I run away from, bro.
Okay. Well, you are in the news today. And normally I would wait, but Vince, I feel like I need to address it right here, right now. So you have a lot of shows, you have a lot of opinions. Some people agree with them, some people do not, right? So Rikishi.
Yeah.
I think I've got a lot of respect for him. I never took the stink face, by the way. Never took it. He has his own podcast with a couple of, they seem like good dudes, right? So you recently, it may have even been here. I don't think it was here, but it was on one of your shows. And you talked about Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental Championship, which I thought was a great moment. I'll give my opinion in a second. But you also questioned the level of emotion that he gave in his interviews, in the ring, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, here were your exact words. Here's the host of Rikishi's podcast and your words first and foremost.
Russo said, I don't understand this. The dude was so emotional he could barely speak. I don't understand. This is a job. The title is a prop. For the life of me, I don't understand how these wrestlers get emotional over winning a prop. Jey Uso has been around forever. Quote.
Okay, so those were your words. So Rikishi sat there for a second. I was watching the show, and then he got fired up. Here is what he said about you on his show. Producer man, roll it.
Let me answer that. And if you listen, Russo, first of all, you can go yourself. You don't have the right to even put my son's name in your mouth. You don't have a right to open your mouth of what you think is right for a person when you finally win this so-called prop that you think. When did you ever get your ass in there and run a match 45 minutes? And anybody can pull up a pencil and write your fantasies of what you think an angle is supposed to be. But when you talk about my boy, When you talk about you didn't understand, you got right, motherfucker. So anytime you want to open your mouth about the Anawai Fatu clan and you try to disrespect what my boys or what my family, you want to link up, you know where to find me. Keep my family's name out your mouth, especially my son.
All right.
I
Wow.
think that, well, my first reaction is to laugh, like based on a couple of things that he said, bro.
Well, let's start with the. I obviously, as the family, he's obviously fired up. You were talking about the. It could have been anybody. It just happened to be Jey.
Well, Coach, let me start here.
Okay.
Let's
Please, wherever you
start
wanna
here.
start. Yeah.
Because what I was doing is what I do every week. I
Okay.
critique the shows.
Okay.
I critique Raw. I critique SmackDown. I get paid to critique Raw and SmackDown. So let me be clear about that. So what I was doing was critiquing a show. And Jey's promo, I am a fan of Jey. Jey is over to the moon. I've never said anything bad about the guy. If you go back and watch that promo, the promo was bad TV. It was very bad TV. He was so emotional, bro. He could hardly speak. He kept picking up the mic, saying a few words, putting it down, picking up the mic. Bro, I'm a writer. I was trained, man. When a television show starts, that's when you grab the viewers, bro. That's when it's balls to the wall, bro. You're setting the tone for the entire night in that first 5 minutes of a show. That's why Coach Vince Russo never wrote an in-ring segment without action. There was always action in an in-ring segment. So I am critiquing a television show. And bro, this is not the first time I've spoken about a talent getting emotional over winning a title. I've spoken about this many, 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 many times before. This was not a first. Okay. So I want to clarify that first. I'm critiquing the television show. In my opinion, as a writer and a producer, this was bad TV.
Okay. I will say this. I want to address it because we'll go back and forth on this. As far as, because I'm kind of in that gray area because I came in as an announcer in an interview and then morphed over into an in-ring performer and had a lot of matches on TV, pay-per-views, was in 2 Royal Rumbles. The emotion part of it, I get because of his journey. And I know I'm quite sure that they told him to show that emotion. The emotion that I like from Jey Uso was right after he won it. Was in the moment, was the backstage interview with Jackie Redmond, because when you're a tag team guy for years and years, and that's what you're known for, and you're the Usos, not Jey Uso, then I can see why the hard work by himself meant so much to him while his brother was off. So I agreed with the emotion of him winning that after so many years, because the titles, we know they're not real, but as a performer, it kind of tells yourself where you're at. And by them giving him the Intercontinental Championship, he kind of told himself, you know what? They recognize me in the office for being a great single performer. So the emotion I got, just maybe not 24 hours later or 48 hours later.
Well, Coach, I totally get that. I totally understand what you're saying without a shadow of a doubt. What does that have to do with the way I feel about it?
No, it doesn't.
I'm a writer. I'm a writer and a producer. I'm not a talent. So when you explain that to me, bro, I totally get that. I've seen that a million times. I've seen the guys where winning that belt means everything. And I've seen the Kevin Nashes, who Kevin has said a million times the belt is a prop. I've seen those kind of guys. So I totally understand that. Coach, I related it to going into the Hall of Fame. Bro, I saw Ric Flair. I was there when Ric Flair was showing off his first ring to everybody. To me, that's a joke. To me, going into the WWE Hall of Fame is a joke. Do I get why they get so emotional? Of course I do. But what does that mean? I got to get all emotional?
See, that's where I agree with you, because people have asked me all the time, Coach, you're so, for the last 15 years, you're bitter about Vince doing this to you or Vince doing that or whatever. But would you, if they told you or offered to you the Hall of Fame, would you? I said no, for two reasons. A, if you look at the list they have every year, I feel like they check boxes. I feel like, well, we got to have a female, maybe a minority, maybe a person in their 70s. And the other part is there's no actual Hall of Fame. There's no brick and mortar building where you can walk in and watch videos, see busts of heads and all of that. And until they want to invest in that, but they're expensive to keep going. I said and I don't want to disrespect any of these Hall of Famers, as you just said. I get why they're emotional. I get why it means something to them, because the blood, sweat, and tears. But if they really looked at it and they said, and I'm not going to name names, but you could probably go look at the list and go, really? They're a Hall of Famer? The NFL Hall of Fame would never do that. That's where I kind of agree with you on that.
Well, Coach, but that's, to me, this is my opinion. First of all, Rikishi, like, am I going to get him? Oh, anybody could take a pencil and that, yeah. Oh, yeah, bro, you think so? Why don't you take the pencil and see if you can get 10 million people to watch on a Monday night? So I don't even take offense to that. That's a joke. It's a joke to me. Anybody can take a pencil. That's the equivalent of me saying, oh, anybody can lace up a pair of boots and get in a wrestling. No, I've never said that in my life. I've always said, bro, I could never do that in a million years. It takes a special animal. But with wrestlers, it's always the mentality. Oh, bro, anybody can write the show. Oh, really? Then why was there a time in history when 10 million people were watching wrestling on Monday night? Who's going to watch Raw tonight? 1.5 million people, bro? So anybody can do this. But I could care less. You know why, yeah. Coach? That's his opinion. If that's, I know it's harder than that. But here's my point, Coach. It's, bro, people win titles for other reasons. Now, you said, it's Jey's journey. It's what Jey accomplished and all that. Bro, I completely understand all that. But for a writer, there's other things involved. It could be the story. It could be the story. That's got nothing to do with, bro, we're putting this belt on you to, no, bro, we're putting the belt on you because right now it's right and it's good for the story. Mm-hmm. Also, bro, come on, Coach, politics play a big part into who gets that title. So putting the title on people means a lot of things to a lot of different people. What I said, bro, was not meant to slight him in any way. I was basically saying this was bad television, okay, in my opinion. And as a writer and a producer, it's a prop to me, bro. Why do you think I got speared through a cage and won a title? Because I wanted to feel like, oh my God, bro, I finally earned my moment and I'm going to get my respect. No, bro, it was good television and it was a good story. So you can't expect me to look at a belt the same way a wrestler might look at a belt.
And I think that's why I enjoy doing the show and why it's so important to have these discussions. As fired up and as pissed off as Rikishi is, I think half of it is because it's his family, right? We always defend our family. And if he's being objective instead of subjective, then he would kind of see what you're talking about. But if it was my son and you said that about my son, I would feel some kind of way. But I would also understand, because he's been in the business so long, that this was the creative team at Triple H saying, we can't fight this anymore. We see what happens when Jey walks out. We see the crowd. We can't, I was very critical of them not having him have a match over in Germany. I feel like he should be on every single show. He's so over like Rover. So to your point, in a storyline, when a guy gets this over, and to the fan base who actually thinks that these matter as well and that these are real, then it shows Joe Public, okay, this guy's a champion. And that's why they do it, not because it's real and he beat Braun Breaker to get it done. Because I saw 3 or 4 house show videos this week. They wrestled 5 times, in this week. But on TV, to the storyline of the show, it is a way to get to the next story, whatever that is.
Right.
Whatever that is.
And that's the thing, bro. Keep my family's name out of your mouth because I have an opinion. Like, really, bro? Like, bro, I'm with you. I got kids. Okay. So I'm with you. Like right away when you hear that, you're gonna go to a certain place. I understand that. I get that totally. However, like I said, bro, my job is that I am a critic. I critique television shows. To me, that was bad television. Coach, come on, man. Like you said, capturing him right after the match. Bro, your alone time when you're on the phone with the wife. And now it all comes to fruition. And now it all means, being away from home and I get all that. But by the time you're opening up that show, and bro, it's not like the first 10 seconds of the show, he lost his composure and get back on track. Bro, he lost it like altogether. And he kept saying a lot of nothing, which to me, as a writer and a producer, that's not good for the show. That's all I was saying. And like I said, Coach, this is not the first time I've said that. I've been very, very critical of when, bro, the women do it a lot. The women do it a lot. Like the women will cry during matches. And I'm like, that's all I was saying. No, bro, Jey's super over. I've acknowledged Jey's super over. There was nothing I said that was freaking personal that I got to get his family out of my mouth. I would have said that if it were anybody, bro. I would have said that if it was Kurt Angle. I love Kurt Angle, bro. That was my assessment of that segment.
Yeah, and I think it was however many days, but how they could have done it, to your point about action, is I always try to think how else could they have done it, because I'm sure he was emotional. Obviously he was. And I watch way too much on YouTube or social media, but if they wanted that emotion, like the real true emotion, and I'm sure a lot of it was real, but I also guarantee you that Triple H and the writer said, listen, we want this to be an emotional segment for you. That's obvious. When you're sitting down and you're going over it, you say we need. And so these aren't award-winning actors. They're not.
Right.
He's not an Oscar or So to tell him you need to be emotional when it's not in the moment is really hard for these guys to do, and the women. So maybe you could have rolled in the emotional right after he won it, or with Jackie Redmond when the emotion in the moment. You could have done that with his entrance before his match. You could have done that.
Coach, I cannot tell you on the complete opposite side of the spectrum.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how many times in my career when a talent won the title, I had to say to them, when you win that title, you got to act like you just won the World Series. I have to remind them. So that's why I'm saying, bro, this is 50-50. We're talking about half the people that this means nothing to, and it is a job and it is a prop. And we're talking about the other half of the people that feel the way Jey Uso does. But I can't tell you how many times I have to remind talent, bro, you just won that title. You've got to sell it and put it over. Coach, I swear to God, there are two moments in sports. This is a sports show.
Correct.
There are two moments in sports I genuinely, I tear up over all the time. Number one, bro, is when a team wins the championship. Because now everyone on that, you're a 12-year-old again. You're a 13-year. You see the child come out in the moment. The last pitch, the buzzer at the end of the NBA Finals. In that moment, Tom Brady is a child. That moves me every single freaking time. Another one, Coach, is I love when they do this. They do this in MLB a lot. when the guy gets the call that he's drafted.
Oh.
And the whole family's there, and the girlfriend, and Aunt Tilly, and Uncle Charlie. I get so emotional in that moment.
Yep.
This wasn't the moment, bro. This was a couple of days after the moment. And like I said, I am breaking down a television show. And I know how important the start of a show is, and you need to with a bang. That's all. There was nothing personal here. Like I said, bro, I completely understand. This is his son. So he's going to hear what he wants to hear, and he's going to react to that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, Rikishi, yeah. And bro, anybody can lace up a pair of boots just like anybody can write a show with a pencil. Yeah, bro, do me a favor, bro. Keep your name out of my mouth. I'm not going to do that, bro, because I understand it and I get it. But like I said, Coach, at the end of the day, man, and I think this is why, in a much bigger scope of things, I feel this is why we have the problems we have in this country. I feel this is why we see what we see on social media. Bro, these are opinions. These are opinions. I'm a firm believer, bro. I'm a Christian guy. And I'm a firm believer, man. God created all of us individually, gave all of us gifts. And guess what? With that, nobody thinks the way we do, bro. We all think a different way. And that's why I always hear what people say. I may agree. Bro, I'm going at it with Disco now, who's my best friend, who can understand, Coach. Maybe you can help me with this one. I don't mean to get off topic. Disco can't understand how the WWE is making so much money, but the show sucks. He can't understand because
I watched that.
Yeah, because they're making so much. How could the show suck if they're making so much money? Okay, bro. How are the Dallas Cowboys selling out every game when they suck?
That is a great analogy. So you need to tell Disco that just like the AEW gets $185 million for 5 years, but yet they only have 2,000 people in the seats because media companies will pay or overpay for live events. They just do. Live events are everything because advertisers want to advertise on something that people do not tape. WWE has a much bigger platform for 20 some odd years, and they're going to get Netflix to give them $5 billion. But it doesn't mean, I was there when they crossed that threshold of 200 million, then 250 or 300, and we had 2,000 people in the building when they had that record number 20 years ago. That's how you can get it. And look at the NBA. It's not like their product is the greatest right now, but look what just happened. You've got Amazon coming in from a streaming perspective. They've got way more money than the networks do, so they overpay by the billions. TNT is out. Barkley and his crew is going to have to go somewhere else. And so now it raises the standard on how much is paid, even though the product right now arguably does not have one mega superstar.
Bro, it's the same thing. I use this analogy all the time, Coach. I love music, man. I love, and bro, I swear we got to have you on another time because you came on my show with Stevie Ray. Bro, 99% of the time we're talking music. We're talking old 70s, Sly and the Family Stone and Parliament, and we love all that stuff. Coach, a lot of people don't know this. My ambition was I wanted to be a Pip. When I was young, I wanted to be one of Gladys Knights' Pip. I wanted to be the first white Pip. But Coach,
you would fit right in.
Thank you. I say this all the time. Coach, I swear to God, I listen to a lot of music. I can name off the top of my head, 10 female singers who are better performers and better songwriters than Taylor Swift. Off the top of my head, and who's making more money than Taylor? So
Nobody.
What?
Nobody.
Yeah. So what does that mean, bro? That means she's the greatest artist in the world because she's making this kind of money. And I even threw this out today, Coach. How much money did Milli Vanilli make, bro?
Tons.
And they didn't
never
say one
sang
word.
They never sang a note.
They didn't say. So what do you? How do we not understand? You could be making a lot of money, but you could still have a very poor product.
I think you bring up a good point, which is why I believe we've only been here for maybe a month and a half. When we pitched the show, I said it's very important. Look what we're talking about. We're talking about music. We're talking about effort. We're talking about all of these things outside of just the sports and wrestling, because I think, and this is one thing I've learned working with you, I don't even read my mentions on social media anymore. People will tweet, and it's mostly Twitter because that's the written word, but they will tweet out of just something they like, not because they're actually using their brains to really think through an issue. And if they really do, I thought you bring up a good point, and then we'll move on, is you described players working their whole lives to get to the major leagues and making that phone call to mom and dad, because mom and dad were there the whole way.
Yes.
That's the angle that Rikishi's coming from, that he saw his son go through all these trials and tribulations, and you got the other son who's had his issues. They're both really, really nice guys, but when you're in a tag team and all of a sudden one has their issues, then the other one feels like they're out there on an island. And a lot of times in the wrestling business, they get left on the bench. And so for Jey to do this, nobody's discounting that journey.
Right.
But the Intercontinental title was a way to help that journey continue and not the end of the journey. And that's all you're really kind of saying. That's when you use the word prop. It's a way to continue his over like Rover journey, which is not a negative.
Yeah. And let me tell you, and I want to say this, Coach, I will never, ever, and nobody listening to this show should. Bro, I will never apologize for an opinion I have. And you know what? I don't expect Rikishi to apologize for all the things that he said, pertaining to me and my job and whatnot. I will never apologize for an opinion, because everybody has a right to a opinion, bro. That's why, Coach, I swear all the shows you and I do, it blows my mind, bro, where, we know what's coming up in November, okay? It blows my mind when somebody tries to tell somebody else who to vote for. And if you don't vote for so-and-so, you're this, that, and the other thing. So what are you trying to tell that person? They don't have a brain. They can't, look at the facts and do research and form an opinion on their own. They're that stupid and that ignorant that you need to tell them. So that's why, I'm very, 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 very serious about how people's opinions. One opinion is worth just the same as the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. I am a very, very strong proponent of that. And
I agree with that. I think just one thing we would say, because we are, when I say there are levels to this game, you and I have been at the highest level when it comes to this sports and sports entertainment. You wrote for the number one show, the highest ratings. Nobody, that is fact. That is not, hey, I think I did. You did. There's nobody that's ever had higher ratings in the pro wrestling business than you when you wrote for Monday Night Raw. I was in the WWE at that time, right after you did that, and I was at ESPN, which is the number one sports network in the world, fact, and I was there for over 10 years. So our opinions might carry a little bit more weight because we've seen it at the highest level, and it's just like AA, AAA baseball. There are levels to this game, and I hope that people who watch this understand, instead of go, I don't like what Vince Russo said, or I don't like what the coach said, really listen to it and then break it down. And to Vince's point, use your brain to have an educated opinion about this business that we all love so much. I wouldn't be doing this just for a paycheck. I genuinely enjoy it. My entire life, Vince, has been sports and sports entertainment. My whole life, it matters to me. But also understanding that there are people that have a more educated opinion than you do if you never spent 1 second in this business.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel.
Well, Coach, last word. I hate to bust your bubble, Coach, but Coach, come on. Anybody can get a seat on ESPN, Coach. Come on. Just like anybody can push a pencil and get the highest rate. Hey, Coach, come on. Stop flattering yourself, Coach. I can pick up my remote control right now, call ESPN, and be on air tomorrow morning, Coach. Stop it. Anybody can do that, Coach.
I wish you could have done this for about 2 or 3 years at the Fan Fest at WrestleMania. They set up a section with headphones, and they had a bunch of big matches from over the years, and you could stand in line. The line was
I
just
can imagine.
forever. I mean, forever.
You
So
got
they would bring,
you got the Ralph Cramden humna, right?
oh, the whole thing, yeah. And so you know how they used to book us for appearances. The guys would do autographs. Me and Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly, and we would go and we'd call matches with fans. I would say that 9 out of 10 of them would get done, and they were only like 4 minutes of a match. They, you know, we weren't going to give them the 20-minute match. Like 3 or 4 minutes, they'd get done, and it would end, and they'd go, "Oh my God, that's so much harder than I thought it was." Every single time.
Yeah.
But yet most of the fan base sits at home, and they're like, "You suck. You're the worst. I could do that." Yeah, with Vince yelling in your ear. Could you do that with Vince for 2-3 hours a night every week? 52 weeks a year, sometimes 2 shows. Like it's that's what we're saying. We're not bragging. It's not bragging. It's just what we've done.
Yeah. Go talk to any Hollywood writer, whether it's a television, whether it's movies, whether it's Broadway, whatever it is, whether it's a docuseries, whatever. Go to any writer in Hollywood and ask them, hey, guys, how would you feel about writing 116 shows a year? See what they see if they turn around and tell you, "Oh yeah, bro, anybody can do that." And anybody.
They would tell you it doesn't happen. They would tell it doesn't happen anywhere. They wouldn't believe you that it happened.
They would tell you you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. Coach, I got to tell you a great quick Fan Fest story. We'll give an exclusive to Sportskeeda, bro.
All right. We'll do a Sportskeeda on Backstage Pass. How about we wait? And we'll put it on Backstage Pass.
I got to remind me, Coach. You'll get a kick out of it.
Of course I will. That'll come up in just a little bit, our Patreon Backstage Pass. But here you guys just got gold right here on the front page of Sportskeeda. Are you kidding me? This last 30 minutes, this is what the business is based on at the highest level. But we always have to give you our picks when it comes to Monday Night Football. And this is your squad. This is Aaron Rodgers. This is the New York Jets. And he said this week on the Pat McAfee show, who obviously he works for WWE also. And I've never known a person, Vince, to go on the same show multiple times and say the same thing. But that's what Aaron Rodgers does. And he goes, I resent the fact that people are out there in the streets saying that I had anything to do with the head coach, Robert Saleh, getting fired. Oh, no, Aaron. You make $40+ million a year. You're Aaron Rodgers. He fined you $50,000 for going to Egypt. You literally have never gotten along. He just insulted you last week and said you were the reason. 5 penalties on false start. You didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
But now they've got to come back. And Vince, amazingly, tonight, and the number's been all over the place. I think the latest number is 2.5. This thing is for first place in the AFC East tonight.
Well, the latest number, I think, Coach, is 1. It was 1 an hour ago. Because I got the line from you, and then I went on DraftKings myself, and it was 1. Man, bro, Coach, I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying, bro, -1 for the -1 for Bill. I'm taking the Bills in a heartbeat. Like, I don't see the Jets winning this game at all. However, now what you're saying and what you're explaining, and maybe this is the reason why that number keeps dwindling, and you can tell me, it seems like Aaron Rodgers has put a lot of pressure on himself, bro.
Because he really has. It's 2 things. And right now I'm looking at DraftKings Live, and it just moved to 1.5. So this thing's all over the place. So it's -1.5, -110. It's 2 reasons. Last week he threw 3 interceptions in London, losing to the Vikings. Josh Allen. And I can't even imagine. Well, I guess I could because we've seen it a lot. We've talked about, concussions being a big deal. Josh Allen had a concussion last week.
Yes.
They did not make him stay on the sideline. He grabbed his helmet. I think there was so much going on, they just missed it. But that's a big deal. There's a guy sitting upstairs that his whole entire job, Vince, is to watch every player. And they will stop the game if they think a player needs to come off the field. That's an entire job for one person. Josh Allen came back, played it out. I think that the reason the total's at 41.5 and not 44 or 45, that they believe at some point Josh Allen will come out of this game. Because it's very hard to come back when you've had a concussion and you play 6 days later and you miss nothing.
How do you feel about that, Coach?
I have really strong opinions when it comes to concussions. I've had several friends, really close friends. Chris Nowinski, I really believe in what him and his team does. So I would rather err on the side of caution than allow him to go back in. As much as I want to see entertaining football, I don't want to talk to Josh Allen in 20 years, and this is no hype, this is no exaggeration, and have him not be able to put a sentence together when we're having a discussion at a golf outing, which happens to me all the time. Any player that's in his 60s or 70s that I talk to, 8 out of 10 times, it is sad. It is so sad. And I know they want to win and they make a ton of money. But Vince, at some point, whether it's wrestling or whether it's Josh Allen and the Bills, you got to protect these guys from themselves.
Yeah. Wow. So you think these bookies may have a little inside info, huh?
100%. I mean, we got my guy Raphael, who, by the way, my numbers guy Raphael on DTL.
Yeah.
He's very upset because I send out a tweet every Monday, and it's Follow Back Monday, and you're always on it. And he says, hey, he really respects you. He's a big wrestling fan. He makes odds for sports books all over the world. I always get inside information from him. You don't follow him on Twitter.
Oh, it
upsets him.
I gotta get his address. I'll be as soon as it shows.
He's really hurt. He's really hurt.
Yeah, I'll fix that.
I told him I'd talk to you. I said I know a guy that knows a guy that knows Vince.
Yeah.
So we got to handle that today.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right. So what is your pick for tonight officially on the books for Sportskeeda.com?
I can't. Man, bro, we know how strict the NFL is on concussion protocol now. We know how. I can't believe for 1 second he's going to get cleared to play if he's not okay. I can't believe that.
He's going to play because all his numbers are live. That's what I'm telling you. He's going to play.
Yeah.
He's going to play.
But if he's going to play, he's got to be okay then.
You would think so.
I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills.
You go with the Bills?
Yes.
All right. And you're going to lay the 1.5, which essentially sometimes I'll go when we're doing it because, I do a show 6 days a week. You're on it. We love having you on it. Our fan base loves having you on it. I like to look at the money line. So the last thing you want is have a 20-19 win and go, man, if I would have laid 12 more cents, I could have had the money line instead of the -1.5. So what I would recommend for you, if you like the Bills, lay -122, and that way all they have to do is win the game.
Got you.
You go with that?
Yep. Got it.
And a lot of people say, Coach, but it's only a 1.5. You would be blown away how many times that point matters.
Yeah.
Especially in the NFL.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
in the NFL.
Yeah.
I had the Commanders this past week, and it was sitting on 7 all week long. And I think I told you on Coach and Bro last Thursday, by the 0.5 point up to 7.5. So it was around -135. Well, Sunday, they're down 14. They score that touchdown. They're down 7, and the Ravens had 3rd and 1. And I'm begging for the Ravens to get a first down. Because if they do, game's over. If they don't, they kick a field goal 10. And, of course, Lamar Jackson does the end around, gets just enough, and now the game's over. And because we laid an extra 20 cents, we cash instead of push.
That's why you're the coach. That's why you're the coach right there, bro. Right. That's why people watch this show right there, man.
We're an incredible team, you and I. We come from different perspectives, but, man, we have our strengths, and I know sports betting. So everybody tune into DTL. You can see my man Vince, and I love what we've done the last 2 or 3 months. If I could just put us over for a second, not only have we created this, but I think we've created a universe with all the different shows that now people know no matter what they're watching, Vince, no matter what the topic is, they're going to be educated and entertained and want to come back. And I'm grateful for that.
Coach, I hate to bust your bubble for a second time. Anybody could do this, Coach. Anybody could do what you and I. Stop it, Coach. Stop it. Anybody can do this.
Don't forget Thursday night, Broncos and the Saints. We drop Mondays and Thursdays right around 7 o'clock. All right, now we got more. Head over to Backstage Pass, courtesy Sportskeeda. You get all kinds of extra content. There's a lot of other shows right here if you're watching us right now. But make no mistake about it. I don't care what JBL says. I don't care what Gerald Briscoe says. I don't care what Bill Apter says. We are the stars of Backstage Pass. Period. End of story. Full stop.